Welcome back to Discover NL. I'm Marc Warren. Very pleased to be joined by Judy Morrow. Hi, Judy.
Hi.
And Neil Kearley,
nice
co-chairs. I tell you, it's great for you to be here. You're both co-chairs of the Newfoundland and Labrador Summer Games. And we have a lot to talk about and a little bit of time to talk about it. So I know this started several years ago and it was interrupted in 2020. But now we're reviving this and it's happening this summer. You know, I know volunteers have a lot to do with this and the committee and everyone who puts this together. Just tell me a little bit about what our audience can expect from seeing it and also what can they do to help?
Well, first of all, Neil and I have been co-chairs since 2018. So we were asked by the town if we would co-chair this wonderful event. Right. And of course, we all know what happened in 2020 and the youth of the province and the athletes of the province missed a whole cycle. And here we are now in 2024 doing what should have been the 2020 Games. Right. But we're both still here and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah. We're the longest tenured chairs of the NL Summer Games.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, certainly when we took this task on in 2018, we certainly didn't foresee what interrupted us.
Right.
But we're so happy to be a few months away from hosting all of the young athletes in the various towns throughout our province to the town of Bay Roberts. It's going to be an exciting week.
And you know, what we've tried to do and what we've accomplished to do is that even though Bay Roberts, the town of Bay Roberts is the actual host, right, we're utilizing some of the facilities throughout Conception Bay North and over into Trinity Bay. Right. So it's become more of a regional event, and you know, the support that we're getting back from the municipalities, corporate support, media support, like your folks, like we thank you very much, Eastlink, you know, for coming on board. And the volunteer base, like it's just tremendous. I must say, it's been a real rewarding experience so far.
And I know the website for people that are looking. We'll put all the information up, but I know nlgames.ca. Yes. And I was clicking around. It was very, very well done site. And if you're looking to volunteer, on the far right, you just click on volunteer. And there's so many things about your interests. You know, you mentioned community. I remember being a part of the games back in '90, which were shared between Carbonear and Harbour Grace. And the same thing, like it's very difficult for one place to have every venue include, right? And
historically, I would say that with regards to volunteerism in the town of Bay Roberts, with the multiple things that take place, we're fortunate to have a strong volunteer base. But as Judy noted, it's a regional games. And certainly we are reaching out to all the communities that are supporting us in their facilities, in their various towns as well. And if you live in those communities, for example, in Carbonear, and we're having a swim meet, and you have an interest in swimming or an interest in volunteering, we're asking for volunteers from all of our various communities where we're going to be hosting the various events.
You know, we're going to have 1,600 or up to 1,600 young athletes from across the province, you know, swoop in on our town, you know, in August 10th to the 17th.
Yes, 10th to the 17th. Yes. And of course, you've got that changeover in the middle as well. Yes. And that's really tricky, but necessary because...
So we say, you know, 700 to 800 in the first group and then 700 to 800 in the second group. So, you know, that's a lot of young people coming to our town and that we have to host. And we're so looking forward to it. As well, on the website, I want to point out the technical packages are there, and it outlines all of the sports and the age groups for the various sports and how a particular young athlete can try out if they're in the age group and they, you know, they want to try it in a particular sport. That's all on the website.
I tell you, made me feel old looking at them. It's like, you need to be born between here and here. And I'm like, oh, that was a couple years ago. But it's an amazing thing, too. And I think, Neil, you were part of this. You played soccer, I think, a few years ago. Talk a little bit about, and Judy, you can add to this too, about, you know, what sports really does for your development. What kind of things do you learn from participating in team sport?
Well, the value of all sports, and I'm sure everybody in your audience knows this, is that it builds leadership within our young people, and that can transpire to sports, but it also does to their community. And if we draw back to the idea that these are regional games and we see that cooperation in our communities, we build those bridges between the next generation to work cooperatively in so many different avenues and also along with building their leadership capacity. So Some of the things we could identify, but we could speak here for an hour and identify about the benefits of sport and what it means to our communities and to our young citizens.
Absolutely.
Now, I've never been involved in an actual games other than my own sons partook, you know, in years past.
Right.
But I used to play softball in the town of Bay Roberts. Even though I grew up in Spaniards Bay, I did play softball.
You were recruited. The town came looking.
And I'm going to throw a bouquet out to Langdon Critch, who is he's a hero, a softball hero here in the town of Bay Roberts. And anybody who's listening out there from Bay Roberts and surrounding areas know exactly who I'm talking about. He's passed on now, and but he was a real pillar in the community in softball. Softball is a very big sport here in the town. So. You know, sports adds so much dimensions to a young person's life, whether it's time management, teamwork, leadership. You know,
and you mentioned teamwork too.
Friendships, networking. You know,
exactly.
You know.
I mean, how many people will meet in the games, maybe play each other or play against each other, and then you're in a class in university together, or you're both meet up in Dalhousie together, and you don't know where these lead.
And the funny thing is, my own sons, and I think your daughter as well was. And your son?
And my son.
And your son. They were all in the games, and like even now, like one of my sons will say, "Mom, remember this?" Because now that we're talking about the games, remember when we did that? Remember when we were in Corner Brook? Remember when we were in Marystown? So it really is a wonderful experience.
These are lifelong memories that as a group now, by hosting, you're able to provide. It's been obviously too long, but I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Time flies, but I tell you, anything that we can do, and as one of your many sponsors. Please let us know. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to conclude. We're talking about the volunteer base. We've been talking about the business community in this province that have supported us. Also, our own municipal government here in Bay Roberts, but the municipal governments in the towns that we are going to be hosting in as well. And our provincial government's been a tremendous support for these games as well.
I tell you, best of luck. We've ordered up some good weather. Let's go. So thank you.
So
and
much.
like I said, you're welcome back anytime.
Perfect.
We'll be right back with more Discover NL after this.